Today we're going to take a look at how to make stop motion animation using Google Slides. This is pretty easy once you get the hang of it, and we're going to go over the basics today so that you can get comfortable with it and learn how to start making your own custom stop motion movies. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to open a brand new Google slideshow. And all we need is our blank title slide at the beginning. We don't need to worry about a theme or anything like that. I want to make sure I give it a good name so I know what it is. This is my stop motion example, and you would want to name yours based on whatever it is you are doing. So now I'm ready to begin setting up my slides. The first couple of slides are going to be the title of my movie. So we're going to use this title slide here, and I'm going to start by choosing a background. I'm going to go to the background button on my menu bar. And because this is our title slide that's going to have writing on it, I recommend going to the color option instead of image. And on the color option, choosing either a solid or a gradient color. We want something that the writing's going to show up very well and be easy to read on. So I'm going to go ahead and choose a dark purple gradient. And I'm going to click Done. Now, the colors of my writing are a little harder to read on a dark background, and depending on the color of your background, you might want to change the color of the writing. That's up to you, and it depends on what color background you're using. I'm going to click where it says click to add title, and because I want it to really stand out, I'm going to change my font color from black to white, and then I'm going to put my title. I'm going to do the same thing for my subtitle. I'm going to click. I'm going to choose a color that's going to stand out really well. This time I'll go with bright pink. And I'm going to put my name so people know who created this movie. So now I have my title slot. When we do stop motion, it's important to remember that when there are things like writing, it's important that we make several copies of the slide so that people have enough time to read it, because each slide is going to be on screen for 1 second or less. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to my mini slide and click on it. There are several ways I can make copies of this or duplicate it. The two easiest ways that I find to do it are either to click on Edit on your menu bar and click Duplicate, or just click on the slide to select it and then use Control D on your keyboard to make several copies. Once you have about 5 of these for your title, we're ready to begin the rest of our slides. I'm going to start by coming up to this little plus button. I don't want to use just the plus because that's going to give me another title slide, and I don't want that kind of slide. Instead, I want to click on the little triangle button next to it, and I want to choose a blank slide. Once I have a blank slide, I'm ready to begin. I need to think about what my movie's going to be about and what type of background I'm going to use. So just like for our title, I'm going to go up to Background on the menu bar. And this time you can either use color or choose an image. I'm going to go to Choose Image. And I'm going to go to the Google Image Search option right up here at the top. I get a little search box at the top, and I'm going to search for, let's see, I'm going to look for an ocean. And I'm going to look and see if any of these work for what I want to do. Now, I think I want to do more of an underwater scene, so I might need to change my search a little bit, because most of these are pictures from above the water, not necessarily underneath the water. So I might change this and do underwater. And now I have a few more options that are closer to what I'm looking for. I really like this first one, so I'm going to click on it to select it and click Insert. I can kind of get a little preview after a moment, and I'm going to click Done. Yep, that looks good to me. I like this background. My next step is to find my characters, and here's where we need to do some very special searching. I'm going to come up here to my image button where it says Insert Image. It looks like a little picture frame with mountains. And I want to go to Search the Web. This is going to bring up a search box over on the right. Now, I want one of my characters to be a fish. I'm going to type in fish, and I have a bunch of options. Ooh, maybe I want this one right here. I can click on it and click Insert. This one actually works out okay because you'll notice that other than a thin white line around it, the rest of the background is clear, and that lets my background show through. However, that doesn't work for every image. So if I go back to search the web again and I go looking for another fish, like this one, notice it has a solid background, and that doesn't look as good as the first one. So sometimes we get lucky in our search and the picture we find has that transparent background around it. But other times, it's harder to find. Luckily, there's a trick to finding images with transparent backgrounds. I'm going to go back to my search, and I'm going to still search for fish, but this time I'm going to put .png. So I wrote fish, a space, and then .png. The PNG part is a kind of image. Most of the time, PNG images have a transparent background. Not every single time, but you're going to have better luck finding a transparent background if you put PNG than if you don't. You can also search for fish transparent, things like that, but PNG seems to work the best for me. So now it's going to find me images that are PNG images that are more likely to have a transparent background. Ooh, let me try this one right here. I'm going to click on it and click Insert. Perfect. So now I'm going to get my little picture, make it the size I want, and put it where I want to start. Then maybe I want another character. So I'm going to go back to search. And this time I'm going to search for, oops, I need to spell it right, a dolphin, PNG, and see if I can find a dolphin picture that I like. Let's see, I'm not super excited by a lot of these pictures. See if there's anything up here at the top. Let me try this one right here. Let's see what this one looks like. All right, that one's not bad. I'm going to go with this one. And I'm going to shrink him down a bit to the size I want. Now, I want my characters to be facing each other, but the pictures are both facing the same direction. If I want to flip a character, I'm going to come up here to Arrange on the menu bar, and I'm going to go down to Rotate, and I want to flip it horizontally. That flips it so it faces the other direction. So now I have my characters. I'm going to start with my dolphin up here. I'm going to put my fish down here at the bottom because I want him to start here. And for my movie, I want the two of them to come closer to each other and talk to each other. So in order to make them move, I'm going to put them in their start positions. I'm going to click on this slide, and I'm going to Control D to duplicate it one time. Now I'm going to move this fish just a little bit, and my dolphin a little bit. Click on the new slide and duplicate it. Move a little bit, move a little bit, duplicate, move a little bit, move a little bit. Oops. And make sure I click on the slide over here and duplicate. Move a little bit, move a little bit. Click on the slide, duplicate. And I'm going to keep doing that until I get them in the position I want. So now my characters are where I want them to be. Next, I want them to talk to each other. Now, because this is a stop motion movie and we're not using sound, we can't really record their voices. But what we can do is use some of the shapes in Google Slides to make speech bubbles and type what we want them to say. So I'm going to go ahead, and now that they're where I want them to be, I'm going to click on this slide and duplicate it one more time. And this time I'm going to come up to my shapes, the circle and the square. I'm going to go to callouts, which is the third one, and here are my speech bubble options. I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to draw a speech bubble for my fish. Once I draw it, I can move it where I want, and then this little yellow diamond shape down here, I can use that to drag the point of my speech bubble to the character that's doing the talking. And now I'm going to click in here and type what I want my character to say. Now, just like with my first one, my title slide, because there is writing on this, I want to make sure I give people enough time to read it. So I'm going to click on this slide and I'm going to duplicate it 4 times so that I end up with 5 total. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I'm going to do that one more time. And on the last one, I'm going to delete the speech bubble for my fish. And I'm going to add a speech bubble for my dolphin. Same thing. I'm going to type in what I want to say. And then once I have that done, I'm going to click on the slide and duplicate it 4 or 5 times. I'm going to duplicate it one last time. And on that last one, I'm going to delete the speech bubble. Then I can continue to add the rest of my movie. I can have my characters move around, do different things, add more speech bubbles if I want to. Some other quick tips. If you want your character to look like they are moving away and going off into the distance, what you can do is make it a little smaller, and then click on the slide and duplicate, make it a little smaller, click on the slide and duplicate, and keep doing this and making it smaller each time, which will make it look like it's traveling off into the distance. If you want to make it look like a character is coming closer, you would do the opposite and make them a little bit bigger each time. So start with them small and make them larger each time. So making them smaller makes it look like they're getting further away. Making them bigger makes them look like they're getting closer. Another trick you can use, I'm going to make a new slide here. If you want a character to come on stage during the movie, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to search for a crab. And let's see. I'm going to try searching for crab transparent and see if I get some. Ooh, here's some better options. I like some of these better. Ooh, I like this guy right here. So I'm going to pull him off and put him on my screen, make sure he is transparent. And then what I'm going to do once I have him, I don't want him to just appear on the screen. I want him to come in from the side. So I'm going to put him over here off side of my stage. Then I'm going to duplicate my slide, move him on screen a little bit, duplicate my slide, move him a little more on screen, duplicate, move him on screen, duplicate, and keep moving him until he's where I want him to be. So that's an easy way to bring a character in from off screen. It's also a way to have a character leave the stage and go off screen by going off to the side. There are lots of other tricks you can do with your stop motion, and we'll cover some of them in class, but the basics are here and should get you started. Now, there are a couple ways I can watch my movie. I can get a quick preview by coming up to the first slide and then just using my down arrow to go through, and I can watch my characters move as I click through it. To make it so that someone can watch mine full screen, I can go to File. I'm going to go to Publish to the Web. And right here where it says Link, it says Auto Advance Slides every 3 seconds. 3 seconds is a pretty long time for stop motion. So I'm going to change it to every second. So the slides are going to switch every 1 second. I want it to start the slideshow as soon as it loads, and then you can decide if you want it to start over when it's done. And then click Publish. Once you've done that, it will give you a link to copy. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop open a new, oops, I don't want to open that. I'm going to come up here to my address bar. I'm going to paste that link in and press enter. And it should automatically start my slideshow. All right, and that is the end of our slideshow and how to make a simple stop motion animation using Google Slides. I look forward to seeing what you create with yours.